Guys, I'm sorry, we don't probably live in a simulation. That is just something that kind of like edgelords like Elon Musk say to try and sound like cool and smart. There's a real life philosophical paper behind the idea, which is actually extremely interesting, and it raises way more questions than just are we in a video game? So the article was written in 2003 by a Swedish philosopher named Nick Bostrom. You can find it online. It's a super short read. It's really interesting. He does not say we probably live in a simulation. He offers what he calls a trilemma, which means one of three things is probably true. One, human beings are very likely to go extinct before they can reach a phase where they can do simulations at this level of fidelity that we're currently living in. Two, any civilization that has that ability is extremely unlikely to run simulations of their evolutionary history. And three, we are almost certainly living in a simulation. He says that one of those three things has to be true. And to me, the first two options are the most interesting. And the reason is because Bostrom himself admits that we currently do not have computers that are anywhere near powerful enough to do this type of high fidelity simulation. And in order for us to be able to do that, we would probably need to get the ability to harness the power of entire stars or planets and just use those as enormously powerful computers to be able to do this simulation. So the second option, that if we had that power, we wouldn't use it to just kind of replay out our history, makes sense. If you had that power, you might have more pressing things that you wanted to put that power towards. The final one of the trilemma is the only one that gets any sort of press, and that's because it says that if we have that power to be able to do that, and if we choose to do that, then we almost certainly live in a simulation, because all of the things living in a simulation would also create simulations, and those simulations would create simulations. So the chance that we are in the original reality would be very close to zero. There's also a pretty big assumption he makes at the beginning of the paper, which he does just kind of to play around with this thought experiment, which is of something called substrate independence. And what that means is just that our experience of consciousness could be replicated by a computer. Now, if you believe in things like souls or spirits, you probably don't believe that computers could have souls. If you don't believe that, you'd be able to move past this pretty easily. I think this is a really interesting paper, but to me it's interesting because he's asking, can humans reach that level of technological advancement without destroying themselves? I would say the jury's pretty out on that one. Another interesting thought to come from it is, if we were able to reach that level of advancement, might we have developed morally in a certain direction where we wouldn't want to do simulations because we would view it as kind of wrong and fucked up? Bostrom said that he thought each of the three possibilities were equally likely. I think we're more likely to go extinct or to decide that this is a thing we shouldn't do.